here to share with you all the fun things that I learned on my crazy entrepreneurial journey, because it's a ton of information that no one is telling you. And I know social media will certainly have you thinking, oh my God, it's so easy. All I need to do is start a business and I'll be rich. There's a lot of steps in between that whole process that they tend to leave out. So hopefully I can shed some light and let you guys know some tips and tricks and what to do and what not to do and what questions to even ask, because really you don't know what you don't know. What I would say is, right now, you know, you want to start a business. Okay, well, where do you go from there? What I would say is, number one, do your research. That is number one. Do not go into an industry thinking because you know how it goes or you think you've seen it that you know what to do. Because I got a mani and a pedi before, I can open a salon. No. There's a whole lot more to it than what you see. And that goes for everything. Even when you see a building that's put up, like, it didn't just magically appear there. Someone had to, do the specs and, figure this out and get the location and what, how does this work and how many people is it going to take to build this? Like, everything that you see has a whole process like that. So do your research. Think big. What is the name of your business going to be? And again, when I say think big, don't think of, oh, I want to name my salon Elle's Place. Okay, that's fine. It's cute. But what if this goes big? What if a major corporation wants to buy this? Is the name that you're thinking of going to translate in a corporate way, like in a large way? Think a little bit bigger than just your scope of people that you know and your circle, because you honestly never know where it'll go. You might have something called, Joe Snails or something like that, and then it doesn't really translate on a larger scale. So you want to make sure if somebody who is not from your town or from your neighborhood or from your circle of friends is exposed to this brand, that it would resonate with them also. So when you're thinking of your domain name, which is your website, so, www.walmart.com, that is your domain name. What is your domain name going to be? So when you're thinking of that, you can go to domain.com. There's plenty of other places that you can go to get a domain, but let's say domain.com for now. You can go there and you can search the domain that you're interested in. So if you wanted to use walmart.com, obviously if you entered that in, it would say, oh, sorry, walmart.com is already purchased. Someone's using that, so you wouldn't be able to purchase it. But if you are able to, there's a fee, obviously. You can purchase it for 1 year, for 2 years, all of that good stuff. So again, this is something that you want to be pretty user-friendly, something that people can think of easily, can type in easily, not super long, just something that people can refer to and think of very quickly. My domain name is respectfullyelle.com. Obviously, that matches my name and who I am. So it's not going to be something that people have to think really hard about, like, what's the name of her website? So these are things you want to think about. So again, think beyond just the website, but the branding as a whole. Okay, so when I say branding, that's your social media, that is, your print, your ads, all of these things. Where is it going to be seen? So again, choose something that can translate worldwide or globally, as opposed to something that would stay right within your circle and what you're familiar or comfortable with. That's number one. Okay, now you have your name, you know what you're gonna call yourself, you got your domain, it's free, it's available, you've purchased it, great. You wanna purchase it because you wanna lock it in so that nobody else can. You don't want someone else to come and steal your name, and then when they're trying to, build up your website, you can't because someone already has the name and you have to create something different and it doesn't coincide with all the other things that you're trying to do for your brand. Again, you want to keep this really cohesive. So if my name is Respectfully Elle, everything that I do is going to coincide with that. It's going to be called Respectfully Elle. It's not going to be Ellie, Eleonora, whatever. It's going to be Elle, right? Okay. So now you got your name. What's next? All right, so you want the government to know that this is your name. It belongs to you. No one can come and steal it from you. It's mine, right? Okay, so you're gonna go to irs.gov and you are going to ask for a tax ID. Now, before you do that, you need to do a little bit more research. What kind of business is this going to be? Is it going to be an LLC? Is it going to be a corporation? You need to do a little bit of research to see which one of those entities really fit your business model the best. Is this a partnership? So there's plenty of websites. Again, irs.gov will break all of that out, and a simple Google search will also give you some very, user reader friendly articles about what they all mean, what the differences are between them, and which one fits you best. I say to do this first because when you go to irs.gov and you get your tax ID, it's going to ask you, what kind of entity is this business? Now, your tax ID is basically the social security number for your business, okay? So that is really important. You're gonna need to know it. In the business world, you're gonna have to be referring to that number all the time. So get familiar with it. It takes literally 2 minutes to go on there and request that you get it instantaneously. It's not something that they'll mail to you and you'll get it in 6 weeks. You'll get it right then and there. I'll say, here's your number. Save that record, save it to your computer, print it out, whatever you need to do. That number is going to be critical for all things business for you. Okay, so now you have your company name, you have your tax ID. Now you need to figure out your money. So the next thing you want to do is to create a business checking account. Now, hear what I just said, a business checking account. Not a checking account that you're designating for your business. You actually need to go to the business division of your bank and get a checking account within the business division. This makes a difference. I'll tell you, this was a mistake that I made because I just had an extra checking account that I was using for savings and I kind of repurposed it as my business account. No. You see all these PPP loans that everyone's getting? Well, there's a ton of people who they were approved for the PPP loan, but they didn't actually get the PPP money deposited into their account because their account name was not in the business name. Now, that means that this account is tied to that same tax ID that we just created. So you want to make sure that you go to a bank, say, okay, who's your business department person? That's who I need to speak to. I want to create a business checking account. You really want to develop a relationship with your bank also, and just an advisor there who is your person. Again, when you need a loan or any of these kinds of things, it's really helpful to have an actual person to refer to who's familiar with you and your business and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, that brings me to my next point. You did all this, but you need some money, right? Unless you got a money tree in the backyard. And if you do, let me hold something, sis, because I could use a couple dollars, but most of us don't, right? So you need some money. Well, let me tell you what they didn't tell me. You're not getting a loan. Everyone will say, oh, go get to this website, the SBA, Small Business Administration. The SBA will give you this money. Oh yeah, they'll help you. Maybe, possibly, yes, but it's a very, very slim chance. Because who are you? Why would I lend a stranger money? So what they don't tell you is that you need at least 2 years worth of not tax information, but business information, business history of your business in order to secure any kind of loan from anybody. So again, maybe you'll get a grant, maybe you have a rich aunt or uncle, but if you want some money from a financial institution, you are going to need to show that your business has been in business for a minimum of 2 years and financial records to back that up. So beyond that, you need a business plan. So in doing your research, which was step 1, you also want to make sure that you have a business plan. Where do you get a business plan? This was also an issue that I ran into. So a business plan can be a little scary because I know I felt like, where do I even start? Like, what does a business plan even look like? Again, there's plenty of templates online. My brain didn't really think of that at the time. I just was like, what does that mean? Like, what are the different parts of a business plan? So there are templates online. What works for me is going to be a lifesaver for you, even if not only for the business plan, for all the other things that you may run into, marketing and so forth with your business, Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com is full of so many freelancers that is willing to do any work that you want to do. So I had a freelancer on Fiverr.com create my business plan. That was amazing. That business plan was like a cool 80 pages. It had all this comprehensive information, all this comparative data, oh, this location versus this location, this is the industry standard, this is, how much the industry makes on a whole, this is how much you can say that you'll probably be making based on these numbers. Now, what did I have to give them to make this business plan? So all they asked was some pretty minimal information. They asked, okay, what is your service menu? So by this point, I had created just a very rough draft idea of the services that I wanted to offer. And again, my business is a nail salon. So I said, okay, I know I want to do manicures, I want to do pedicures, I want to do eyebrow waxing, and I kept it pretty basic. How many people roughly do you think you will have working? Well, I knew that I wanted, at least 5 people, right? I don't know. I'm really early in the process. I don't know what exactly I want, but I know at least 5. Okay, so I said, I have 5 employees. These are the services that I'm offering. I'm gonna charge $20 for manicure, $30 for a pedicure, and so on and so forth. Based on those numbers, they were able to generate a whole spreadsheet and a profit and loss sheet for the first 3 years of my business to say, okay, this is roughly how much you could potentially make if you stuck to these same figures that you provided us with. And it was really helpful because then it kind of gives you a point where you can gauge. It's like, okay, if I have 5 employees and these are the prices that I have set, then this is what I could potentially make if I have these amount of customers coming in every day. So imagine if I increase that number of employees from 5 to 10, so all of these things. So again, it just gives you a great point of reference for, what it is that you're really getting into. But again, all of that helps you to determine the next steps, but you need money. So you've created your account, you have your tax ID, your checking is at 0, and now you need some money. What I'll tell you is beyond forming a relationship with the bank, if you have a credit union, you would want to also join whatever the credit union is, perhaps open your checking account with them. I find that credit unions tend to be a little bit more flexible as far as loaning money. The other thing you can do, and I want to caution you, this is very, very risky, but hey, you're an entrepreneur, then you're no stranger to risk. Like, it's part of the game, right? You're not just gonna go into something and become rich in like 30 seconds. It just doesn't work that way. And if it was that easy, honestly, everybody would do it, and they're not doing it. They're just making it look really easy. But again, I'm here to tell you how it is to actually be successful. And again, kind of jump through some of these hoops and obstacles that I have to deal with that hopefully you won't have to deal with also, because no one told me any of these things. Well, you need money, go to a credit union, you might get lucky. The other thing you can do is leverage your personal credit. Now, what I'll say is that you don't want to use your personal credit because it's your personal credit. The same way the tax ID is the social security number of your business, your social security is your social security number for you. So if you are using your own credit, all of these things or loans or debts are going to come back on you as a person. So you want to be very careful. I would say only do this if you already purchased your home, you have a car, you have everything that you would potentially need credit for. And if you have those things out of the way already, or you don't think you're going to need them, and you don't think you're going to really need your credit in the near future, say, 2 to 3 years, then hey, use your personal credit. With that, you can take out a personal loan and however much you may need, depending on whatever industry or business you're opening, and you can say, okay, this is what it is. Now, remember, take out a loan, that means that there's a payment attached. So factor that into your overhead and your expenses. You want to keep your overhead as low as possible because these are monthly expenses. So you want to keep it low. You don't want to have to be paying out money. The whole name of the game here is taking money in. There's obviously going to be expenses, but we want to keep those as low as possible so that you can really benefit from the money that you're bringing in. So those are my tips for today. Digest that. I know it was a lot. Please leave any information or questions that you have below. I'll be so happy to answer them. Again, my goal here is just to help you guys get a little further in the game. So shoot me some questions. I'll be uploading another video in another couple days with part 2 and where to go from here. But tackle that first. Once you got all that situated, meet me back here and we'll talk some more. Subscribe now, like the video if you haven't, and thanks for joining me.
Love.